Welcome to JobBridge's Japanese Language Training Center. We provide an online tutorial for people who aspires to work in Japan. Before we start, don't forget to like and subscribe to our channel to keep you updated on our lessons to help you master Japanese language in no time.
Welcome everyone! Welcome back to JobBridge's Japanese language video tutorial, and we are now in lesson 26. Now, let me tell you that lesson 26 is the beginning of a new chapter. Why? Because we are already in the JLPT N4 level of your Japanese language tutorial. Now, if you've reached this part, congratulations and welcome to another chapter. Let's begin. So with lesson 26, our first sentence pattern is verb in its plain form des, adjective in its plain form des, adjective in its plain form des, and noun again in a plain form des. Now, what is this for? Or why do we have to add and then des in our sentence? Now, take note that des is used in speech, while in writing, no des is used. Des is used in the following ways. Number 1, let's discuss about desu ka. Again, desu ka. Now, adding the particle a means that the sentence is a question. So, when do we use this? So, when asking the listener to confirm something that the speaker has seen or heard. Again, when we, as the speaker, wants to confirm something that we have seen or heard. Example, Ame ga futte irun desu ka? Again, Ame ga futte irun desu ka? Or is it raining? Now, why did the speaker ask this question to the listener? Because it is the speaker has seen someone holding a wet umbrella. Now, typically when we see someone holding a wet umbrella, it just means that it is raining or did rain outside. Now, saying the presence of a wet umbrella made the speaker question what he or she has seen. That's why he or she uses the desu ka at the end of the sentence. You got that? Karimashita ka? Now, another way of using desu ka is when asking the listener for a more detailed information about something that the listener has seen or heard. Now, in this part, we are asking or confirming something that the listener has seen or heard. Okay? The former sentence, the one we discussed a while ago, is about confirming something that the speaker has seen or heard. Now, in this sentence, it is the listener who has seen or heard the information. Example, the speaker could ask, Omoshiroi design no kutsu desu ne? Again, Omoshiroi design no kutsu desu ne? Those shoes are interestingly designed, aren't they? And then, he could follow up the question with, Doko de kattan desu ka? Again, Doko de kattan desu ka? Or where did you buy them? Now, why did we add des or at the end of the doko de kattan desu ka? It's because we know that the listener is the one who bought the shoe, and he or she has a detailed information about where he or she has bought the shoe. You understand? It is the listener this time who has a more detailed information about where is the shoe or where was the shoe bought. Okay? Now, another way of using desu ka is when the speaker asks the listener to explain the reason or the cause of what he has seen or heard. Now, in this situation, the speaker is asking the listener to explain the reason for something that has happened already. Again, that has happened already. Example, Doshite okuritan desu ka? Again, Doshite okuritan desu ka? why were you late? Now, the speaker added desu ka at the end of the sentence because this listener has been late or the being late has already happened, and then he or she is asking what is the reason behind the tardiness. That's why, doshite okoritan desu ka? Or why were you late? Now, another use of desu ka is when asking for an explanation of a situation. Alright, when asking for an explanation of a situation. Now, this one, again, it is when a situation has already happened and we've seen or experienced it. Now, this one, you can use this generally. Example, doshita desu ka? Again, doshita desu ka? Or what's the matter? Instead of just using doshite desu ka? Or doshite desu ka? Or doshita. So, we could use what's the matter? Or doshita desu ka? Using this sentence pattern could mean that your Japanese language is on a higher level. Now, note, be careful not to use desu ka when it is not needed, as this will sound weird to the listener. Again, because, when you use the desu ka, you are confirming things that you have already seen or heard. Right? Now, of course, whenever you use this, it means that you already saw what happened or heard what is being talked about. So be careful in using this one. Alright? Just to be sure, guys, when you just want to confirm something, that you have a knowledge about, whether it's a little knowledge about certain things, you can use this one. But if you're just asking, and you haven't had any clue about what happened or what is being talked about, do not use desu ka. Understood? Wakarimashita ka? Wakatta ne? Now that we've discussed about using desu ka or the uses of desu ka, let's proceed to using desu. Again, desu. Now this one, you use this when you're stating the reason or cause as an answer to such questions. Now, previously, you are the one asking the question. Now, in this part, we are the one answering the question. Example, when someone asked us, doshite okuritan desu ka? Or why were you late? Or why are we late? And then we want to express or state the reason, we could answer with baso ga konakattan desu. Again, baso ga konakattan desu. Or because the bus didn't come. Alright, then another example could be when someone asks us, what's the matter? Or doshita desu ka? Doshita desu ka? So they are asking us what happened or what's the matter. And of course, we can answer or state the reason using this sentence pattern. Example, chotto kibun ga waruin desu. Again, chotto kibun ga waruin desu. Or the reason is, I don't feel well. Do you understand? Very well. Now, we could also use this when the speaker or when we want to add the reason or the cause to what has been stated. Again, asking or adding additional reason or cause to what has been stated. Example, someone might ask you, "Mai asa shinbun o yomimasu ka?" Mai asa shinbun o yomimasu ka? Or do you read newspaper every morning? Now, we could answer like this. Iie, jikan ga nai desu. Again, iie, jikan ga nai desu. Or no, I don't have time. Alright. Now, we have nani nani desu ga, then another sentence. Again, desu ga. Alright, ga. Then another sentence. Desu ga, is used to introduce a topic. Now, the next sentence, okay, is a request. Alright? Desu ga is used to introduce a topic, and then it is followed by a request, an invitation, or an expression seeking permission. Okay? Ga in this case is used to connect the sentence or the sentences slightly and indicates hesitation and reservation on the speaker's side. Now again, we're using the desu ga because even if we are requesting or inviting or expressing or seeking permission, there is a quiet hesitation on our part. Let's see your example. Atama ga itai desu ga kaite mo ii desu ka? Again. Atama ga itai desu ga kaite mo ii desu ka? I've got a headache. May I go home? So in this sentence, the speaker is stating that he is experiencing a headache. Now the next sentence which is kaite mo ii desu ka, is seeking permission if he could go home. But then, by using the desu ga at the introduction sentence, he is saying or he is stating that even if he wants to go home, he is hesitating. Alright, and then another example we have is NHK o kengaku shitai desu ga doshitara ii desu ka? Again, NHK o kengaku shitai desu ga doshitara ii desu ka? So I want to tour NHK. How can I do that? So the speaker uses the desu ka in the first sentence because it's like he really wants to tour the NHK building, but he is quite hesitant, okay, in asking the listener what he or she could do. It's because maybe the speaker's listener is someone who works at NHK and the speaker knows that the listener could help him tour the NHK building, but then again, alright, he is showing that even though he knows that the listener could help him, there is still a hesitation or reservation on his part in asking a certain favor or to be invited by the listener. Wakarimashita? Now be careful again, everyone, when using the desu ka, desu or desu ga in sentences, because I'm not saying that it has a double meaning, but it does, alright? And there's a bit hesitation, reservation, and you have already knowledge on things prior to stating these sentences. Wakarimashita, everyone? I hope you do. Now, we have another sentence pattern here in lesson 26, and it's verb te form itadakimasen ka? Again, verb te form itadakimasen ka? Or would you please do me a favor of verb ing? Again, would you please do me a favor of verb ing? Now, this is a request expression that is politer than te kudasai. Again, a request expression that is politer than te kudasai. Now, if you thought that verb te kudasai is polite, this is more politer. Example. Ii sensei o shoukai shite itadakimasen ka? Again, Ii sensei o shoukai shite itadakimasen ka? Or would you please introduce a good teacher to me? Alright. Now, since we're asking someone for a favor, and we want to be extra polite in saying that favor, instead of saying shoukai shite kudasai, the speaker opted for using itadakimasen ka or Ii sensei o shoukai shite itadakimasen ka? Would you please introduce a good teacher to me? Okay, now you could also use this when you want someone to teach you to read, example, kanjis and so on, and you want to be politer, and of course, you're asking for a favor, instead of saying, oshete kudasai, you could say, oshete itadakimasen ka, which is more politer than the please, or the te kudasai. Although in English, it also translates into please teach me. Alright, itadakimasen ka or oshete itadakimasen ka is more politer. Wakarimashita ka? Now, let me introduce you interrogative vita form or interrogative verb ta form rai desu ka? Again, interrogative verb ta form verb ta form rai desu ka? Or what, when, where, which, how, who shall I? Alright, the interrogatives using what, when, where, which, how, or who shall I? So, tarai desu ka is used when the speaker asks the listener for some advice or instructions about what to do. Again, using the interrogative verb ta form rai desu ka, or in short, interrogative verb tarai desu ka, this means that you are asking for some advice or instructions. For example, asking someone where to buy a good camera. Doko de kamera o kaitarai desu ka? Again, doko de kamera o kaitarai desu ka? Or in English, where should I buy a camera? By just using this sentence, you don't have to state that you are asking for advice or instructions, because by just using the interrogative verb tarai desu ka in Japanese, this means that you want some advice or instructions. And another example, kumakai o kane ga nain desu ga doshitarai desu ka? Again, kumakai o kane ga nain desu ka doshitarai desu ka? Or I don't have any small change. What should I do? So in this sentence, the speaker is asking for instructions on what to do, because maybe he or she wants to buy a drink from a vending machine and he or she doesn't have a small change or coins. Okay, so it could also mean that you would want to borrow money from your listener. That could be one, right? Okay, this is why we're adding desu ka on the first sentence, because the experience is the speaker's experience alone. Okay, doshitarai desu ka? What should I do? Okay, now another example or another sentence pattern, that we have. Don't worry guys, this is the last for this one, for lesson 26, okay? Is noun, object wa suki desu, kirai desu, jouzu desu, heta desu, or arimasu. Noun, which is an object, wa suki desu, kirai desu, jouzu desu, heta desu, arimasu. So, we learned from me in lesson 10 and 17 that subjects and also objects indicated by o can become topics and be highlighted by wa. Now in this one, objects indicated by ga can also be highlighted by wa. Alright? Now I know you're asking, I thought we're gonna use ga for ski, karui, kirai, jouzu, and heta. But then again, since we want to highlight that we want something, we like something, we're good at something, we're bad at something, we're gonna use wa in this sentence. Example, undokai ni sanka shimasu ka? Again, undokai ni sanka shimasu ka? Are you going to participate in the athletic meeting? Now, here's the listener's answer. Iie, スポーツはあまり好きじゃないんです. Or, No, I don't like sports very much. Now, why did the listener answer with sports wa amariski janain desu instead of saying sports ga amariski janain desu? It is because he or she is highlighting that he doesn't like sports very much. Now in English, it might sound the same, or it might translate the same, but in Nihongo or in Japanese language, using wa instead of ga has a very big difference. It means that you are highlighting that you don't like sports very much. Wakarimashita minasan? Wakatta ne!
Alright, that's just it for today. See you on our next videos. And don't forget to like and subscribe to our channel to keep you updated on our lessons so you can master Japanese language in no time.